that there is a conjunction of aspirations, of hopes and of values between members of the British Arab community and many of the things that the Liberal Democrats stand for today. And I want to illustrate that, if I may, not actually by talking about specific policies. I'm not going to sit here, as many politicians stand here, rather, as many politicians do, holding up one policy after another as if there is a series of blandishments to you. No, I think something more important is going on. I think there are a number of values which rest and sit deep in the soul of the Liberal Democrats and of British liberalism, which I believe, having spoken to not only many other friends in the British Arab community, are important to you too. And I want to talk for a minute, if I may, about those values. I am a relatively young political leader. Miriam, my wife, said I look even juvenile with this new haircut. But I'm lucky enough to be the leader of a youthful, insurgent political party seeking to change British politics, but drawing on very, very old values. Old British liberal values that stretch way back into our political and democratic history. The crucible of British liberalism in the 19th century onwards, I think, is still alive and well in today's Liberal Democrats. And if you look at some of the pioneering reform that liberals down the ages have promoted, whether it's the basic, simple dignity of the human being, of the individual, the sanctity of the individual, the beauty, if you like, of the individual, who should be able to live free from unjust oppression, incursion, or decree. That is something which was as important to the Liberals of 70 years ago as it is to the Liberal Democrats of today. If you look at the tradition of internationalism, look at the speeches Gladstone used to give, spelling out quite simply that as human beings we have a duty to react when human beings in other countries, other faraway places, suffer. That the rights that we wish to protect, they're universal. You can't pick and choose, and where they're being abused, you must speak out, and where you can, you must act. That is an ancient liberal value, which is still as important today as it was then. Social justice, fairness, a sense that every child, from whatever background, from whatever town, village or community, has a right to live out their dreams without being condemned by the circumstances of their birth. All of those values are old, old liberal values. And I think they are more relevant to the challenges and difficulties we face as a country in the United Kingdom, and that all people of good faith in whatever country in the world face in a very, very uncertain international context. So when the Liberal Democrats fight and defeat the evil of the BNP in the streets of Burnley, for instance. Burnley, you may remember, a town in the northwest, we all been told a few years ago, would be the first BNP-run city in this country. It was a prediction which people were just lazily reproducing as they, oh yeah, for sure. And now Burnley is run by the Liberal Democrats. I'm confident the next MP for Burnley will be a Liberal Democrat. And in the 6 county council seats, which were up for election in the May local elections of this year, all of them held previously by the Labour Party, all of them targeted by the BNP. The Liberal Democrats won 5 of them, and the BNP won 1 of them. The mixture of prejudice, intolerance, xenophobia, and downright populism that you see in the BNP, feeding on people's fears, feeding on people's anxieties, feeding on people's insecurities. Anxieties and insecurities which have become so much more acute as the recession has taken hold and has called into doubt people's basic livelihood, basic ability to look after themselves and their family, is, in my view, one of the greatest challenges we face. I look too at the things that we have campaigned on in this country, on civil liberties. Whether it's against the imposition of the ill-fated ID card scheme, the continuing campaign we have against the retention of DNA data of totally innocent people, young children, on the largest government DNA database in the world, whether it's on the disproportionate use of heavy-handed police tactics on people of black, minority, Asian, ethnic backgrounds and appearance, on all of those things, some of them which are not popular, we are told. In the battle for Middle England, the Liberal Democrats have consistently and always spoken out. And I promise you that we will continue to do so.
Yeah.